Hi everyone, welcome to the Whiteleyverse with me, Connor Whiteley, for another daily short story. Now, before I start today's story, please remember to like, comment and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new content, and the engagement really helps the Whiteleyverse with the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you want to buy this short story and any of my other fiction, then they're available from all major ebook retailers and at your local bookstore and local library if you requested, and you can order paperback copies from Amazon. Now, here's today's short story. I hope you enjoyed just as much as I did writing it.
Just ignore the weird things. You would have thought that after living in Hell's Place, after 40 years, I'm actually one of the longest surviving residents, that I, Emond Crane, would know the dos and the do-nots of this hellish former council estate. After all, this was the nightmarish estate where people disappeared, died, or turned into murderers without anyone actually batting an eyelid. All because this was Hell's Place. An estate where everything and everyone was weird, twisted, and a little crazy. So over the years, I learnt how to survive. Whilst I read to sick children in Canterbury Hospital, made soup for the homeless round Canterbury High Street, and I even salted the snowy streets of my little narrow road for my neighbors, I still killed some people. That was simply the pattern I had noticed over the years and long decades. People who played the game in Hell's Place typically stayed alive a lot longer than others. If it makes you any happier, I only killed terminally ill elderly people. I never touched anyone else before I buried them in my backyard, but I still made a critical mistake one morning. I simply forgot to ignore the weird things in Hell's Place. This is weird, I said to myself as I stood in front of my large single-paneled glass patio sliding doors that my nephew had got me last Christmas. Why the hell he didn't simply get me out of this awful place is beyond me. The doors were silly, dumb, and let all the heat out. Yet considering a storm had broken my last patio doors, I suppose these had to do. I took a small sip of vanilla-flavored ground coffee from a fresh pot that I had made for my wife, like I had every morning for the past 20 years. Of course, she had been dead 20 years, but that was Hell's Place for you. You simply needed to play along and make yourself out to be a little crazier than you were. The coffee was rich, delicious, and the vanilla gave the bitterness a nice sweet contrast. It was why I flat out loved my coffee syrups, and in that regard, I was simply the easiest person ever to buy for. The weird thing was simply that me and my fellow dirty white terrace houses were arranged in a perfect square. From my patio doors, I could see most of my neighbors' gardens with their large patches of lustrous green grass, dead rose gardens, and the odd silver birch. There were even some children's toys in a garden or two, like swings, slides, and a paddling pool. Yet I could see the windows of all the other terrace houses, and the neighbor directly across from me used to have her blood-red curtains open all the time. I used to have to shut my curtains early in the evening because I didn't want to see her and her aging body get changed while she was naked. For the past 3 months the curtains had never opened, but today they were. The bedroom looked shrouded in darkness. I didn't see any movement, any signs of life, nor any signs of the naked woman. Of course, if I was smart, then I would have left it and gone back to my coffee, watched some dumb soap on the TV, or I would have waited to collect my pension from the post office. Those are all the things I should have done. I paced round in my little box-like living room for a few moments. The day was nice, with it being not too cold, not too hot, but just mild enough for my joints not to seize up if I went outside. I don't even think I would need my walking frame or anything. It wouldn't be hard to go and see her and make sure that everything was okay. And I knew myself well enough because of a career as an insurance investigator for 30 years that if I didn't go and see her, then this would only itch at my brain for the next few years. I needed to go and see the woman in the house opposite me. Yet I should have just stayed in, watched my dumb soap, and lived my normal trapped life to make sure Hell's Place did not get me. Sadly, I didn't want to do that at all. I should not have downed my hot coffee in one delicious mouthful, grabbed my new black jumper and keys, and headed out the door. I just wanted to see if everything was okay, if she was well, and if she needed me to get anything for her. Maybe a pint of milk, maybe a ready meal, or maybe some company. If only I had remembered that this was Hell's Place, and not the council estate where I had grown up. I might still be, well, I'm not exactly alive or dead at the moment, but somewhere terrifying in between. About an hour later, I shuffled up to the naked woman's front door, a small wrecked old excuse of a wooden door. There were large cobwebs lining the two windows around it. Even larger and deeper cracks had ripped into the wood, almost like a demonic dog had tried to eat its way through the door, and even the narrow concrete path leading to it was chipped and broken as hell. A chill ran down my spine, and I knew I should have fled. I should have shuffled away, and I should have just ignored the weird things. That wasn't how Hell's Place worked, though. The day had gotten a lot colder, and small shards of ice and frost caked the lustrous blades of green grass either side of the broken concrete path. The strong taste of iron formed on my tongue, and burnt away any wonderful taste of vanilla and coffee like my mouth had tasted only moments ago. I went to knock on the dying front door, when it opened. A quiet squeak echoed around me and rang in my ears, and I expected the woman or a carer or someone to pop out and greet me. No one did. I don't even think there was anyone else left in the house, but there had to be. Someone had to have opened the curtains. The sweet aromas of succulent pulled pork, incredibly rich and juicy steak, and lemon-roasted parsnips and potatoes poured out. It was a great smell. I hadn't had a real roast since my wife died. Maybe I could steal a potato or two, or even 3. I stepped into, and I don't even remember walking in a long, narrow, almost claustrophobic hallway, but I was there inside one. There was horrible thin, ripped crimson-red carpet, and the entire hallway was barely lit by 3 flickering orange lights that looked like they were from the Victorian era. I shivered, and my breath formed long columns of thick vapor, and a single icicle grew out of my nose. "So I do have a visitor," a woman said, her voice echoing all around me. I blinked, and then there was a very young woman with long black hair flowing around her shoulders standing there. Her white dress shirt was the only thing she was wearing. Her eyes were a stunning, sexy, piercing blue, and her smile was something else. It reached her eyes, and her smile made her look kind, hopeful, and I immediately trusted her. It was almost like I just knew there was no chance in hell that she would ever hurt me. "What brings you here?" she asked, taking me in her arms. I should have resisted. I should have stepped away, and I should have shuffled out the house as quickly as I could, but I couldn't. She was simply too stunning, and her roast dinner smelt great. "I wanted to check if your mother was okay. I think she's upstairs." "Nope, Emond," she said, smiling. "I am the only woman in this house, and well, I know you shut your curtains early so you did not watch me undress." I pushed her away, and took a few slow steps back. This was impossible. This could not be the same woman, because the woman I had seen was about my age. Her body was old, and her eyes were never this beautiful or piercing. This woman just was not her. "You know the first rule of Hell's Place, my dear child," she said. I shook my head, but I already knew the rule, so I said it anyway. "Always ignore the weird things." "You forgot that, didn't you?" she said before laughing. Her beautiful smile faded as fangs grew out of her unnaturally long, inhuman smile. Her ears turned pointed, and her eyes became balls of blue fire. My entire body shivered. The taste of iron got even more overwhelming in my mouth, and the entire hallway just stunk of blood and rotting flesh. The woman came over and licked me with her razor-sharp tongue. I hissed in pain as the thorns on it ripped into my flesh. "You know something, little mortal," the woman said. "When you come to Hell's Place, there are 3 outcomes for you. You can either die, survive, or you can beat Edward Hales at his own game. You can actually become something in this hellscape." I shook my head. So the rumors, lies, and myths were all true. So Edward Hales, the man who had built the estate in the 1800s, was still controlling the estate and influencing the events with this evil magic, power, and demonic pacts. "How did you beat him?" I asked. The woman laughed. "He sent 5 people to kill me because he wanted me to kill them, so I did, in a way. I know drugs, you see, and some basic spells. Not that many, but enough to make sure I never needed to kill anyone." I nodded. I had no idea magic, demons, and all this bullshit was actually true until 10 seconds ago, but clearly, I had stumbled or shuffled into something far, far grander than my little simple life. So Edward came to visit me himself, and I managed to stab him. I managed to stab the great demon lord himself. I am not sure if he is actually a demon, but he is powerful enough like one. You had to save him, I said. Exactly. I saved him in exchange for some extra power, some extra independence, and the promise that he could never ever touch me again. So when you kill me, my death won't be serving him. No, and you will never die either. I simply slumped down to the ground as I realized what had happened. I was not going to be serving Edward Hales in death. I have no idea why that seemed so bad, so wrong and so pathetic. Maybe it was just Hell's Place way of wearing me down over the years, corrupting myself and my mind so that all I really wanted to do was serve Edward under the end. Fuck, this place really does a number on you over the years. What are you going to do to me? I asked. The woman laughed. I will show you, and you will keep me young again. The woman's blue balls of fire grew out of her head, and they simply floated towards me. They were so beautiful, so hypnotic, and so perfect that I couldn't move. Nor did I want to. So as the blue balls of fire melted into my own eyes, I felt myself smile because I was finally understanding how great Hell's Place and this woman really was. I didn't care that I could see everyone moving, walking, and talking. Every single conversation, thought, and movement I could see. I could study, and I could learn from there was nothing I was blind to anymore. And whilst I could see the woman's mind pressing against mine, I did not care because I wasn't alone anymore. Ever since my wife had died, I had been so alone, so mundane, and so small, but now I was a part of something bigger than myself. And as soon as I realized that, I felt hundreds of other fireballs around me, like I was now a proud member of a colony of ants out searching, looking and investigating on behalf of their queen. And that demonic woman certainly was my queen. I didn't even care, as I felt my aged awful body melt into the crimson red carpet, and I became one with the house, one with my queen, and one with all my brothers and sisters who had been taken too. This was the meaning of Hell's Place, and now I was a part of my queen's world, and I was so grateful that I had not followed one rule of Hell's Place. Never ignore the weird things. The results can be glorious.
Welcome back everyone, it's me again, Connor Whiteley. So I really hope that you enjoyed today's story, because I flat out love writing, creating stories and sharing them with you. If you really enjoyed today's story, then please remember to like, comment and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new content, and the engagement really helps the Whiteleyverse with the YouTube algorithms. And if you want to buy this short story or any of my other fiction, then they're available from all major ebook retailers, and you can get them from your local library if you requested, and you can order the paperback copies from Amazon, your local bookstore or local library if you request it. Lastly, if you want to support the channel on a one-off basis, then you can now buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Connor Whiteley. Also, if you know anyone who would enjoy today's story, then please share it with them. I'm always really grateful when you wonderful people help spread the word about the channel. So, thanks for watching the Whiteleyverse, and I'll see you again soon. Have a great day, everyone.